What's up, guys? Another day, another haunt project. Halloween is rapidly approaching, so I'm gonna do a twist on those DIY smoldering skeleton piles that you see that look like a fire pit. So I got my guy right here, and I have hardwired in those LED eyes that come standard on these posable skeletons. If you haven't seen my video on how to do this, I will link it in the description. That is a big factor. I want to make it look a little bit more gnarly. Let's get into it.
That one there's the penis pump.
As you can see, real quick, not going to spend much time on this. The eyes are illuminated, and I have a 12-volt AC adapter here that I have wired in to the actual Try-Me cable that comes out of the back of the skull. So these are all available at like Lowe's, Home Depot. So all I do is silicone that in, and you open up the battery pack on the back, and you just put a jumper wire between the battery terminals and take the batteries out, splice it into your 12-volt AC power adapter, and then you voila have constant glowing red eyes when you plug this in with the other lights we're going to be using. So again, I'll drop that in the description, but you want to get yourself, I got 4 cans of black spray paint here. I got 4 cans of the, what is this? The Great Stuff Big Gap Filler Expansion Foam. I don't know if I'm gonna need 4 or 5 or 2 or what, so I bought a bunch of each, and I got a can of red spray paint here too. So here's some of our supplies. Let me get this guy broken down, figure out how I wanna do it. We're kind of going off the cuff here. And you also wanna get yourself a sheet of plywood. So I dug up this old sheet of I got this like Luan plywood here. It's probably a little over 2 feet wide by roughly 3.5 feet long. And I'm gonna make it kind of a longer grave looking thing. A very important component here is you wanna get these holiday, Halloween orange LED lights because they need to be buried in your expansion foam and your setup here. And I got this one because it's about 40 feet long, and we have custom light shows on this. You can see a button on the back of this. I will drop the link to purchase this in the description. Let's go ahead and plug it in. I'll show you what this is all about. So this right here is the exact reason I bought these. I want to make it look like a smoldering fire pit and have those skeleton eyes lit up and just make it look a bit more evil. So if we push the button, it changes modes. As you can see, there's flashing each side. When it's laid out in there, I don't know if you really want to have that setting, but this is kind of like the breath option. You get the picture. 8 different light shows. I'm sure I'll choose the right one. Very important component here. Because I can't leave anything alone, I went ahead and took my Sawzall and I just kind of rounded out some of the edges and made it a little bit more oval. Bottom part's a little rotten, but I don't really care, and it kind of adds to the overall aesthetics. I don't need it to be perfect. Just long enough and big enough to have the display that I want. So cut the board to the size that you want or make it round. If you're gonna put it out on fire pit, that's one thing. I'm actually going to have mine flat on the ground, so I just wanna mount it up. Next thing you wanna do, lay them out how you want it. I'm dismantling my guy. You can chop them up, cut them up. There's some screws, you can take things apart. I really like how he's a dirty looking skeleton, so it's gonna look a little bit better with the aesthetics. But I'm probably gonna grab some pool noodles, lay them in here. Everything's gonna get spray painted with a layer of black on it, and just kind of arrange these bones and things to make it look like he's kind of coming up out of the grave. I figured leaning back might be best because that way you can see his face and eyes and mouth open. If he's leaning forward, it's kind of looking down. You can't really move the head back unless I finagle something, but so far, so good. A little bit of progress so far. I got the tarp out. So you can see I started running the lights, and I just ran a strip of lights around it, and I still have the brunt of the lights left right here. Sprayed some expansion foam down, propped up my Skelly the way I wanted it, add a little funk to them. I'm breaking up a pool noodle because when this is done, I'll have some mounds of stuff and bones, and I'm spray painted all black. I'm gonna try to run some lights up inside the skeleton. But here we have our 2 power cables, one for the actual glowing orange lights and one for the red eyes. Now, if you're using wood, you can go ahead and use screws. So I screwed the end of his broken arm down in there, screwed the part of the rib cage into the wood, just to kind of hold it in place. Other than that, once this expansion foam dries, it ain't going anywhere. Okay, progress report number 2. So I've kind of piled up some of the extra bones and parts and torso, pelvis. This is 2 cans worth of the expansion foam spray. Use it wisely. I thought 4 cans would be good. I do have 4, and I think I will be good. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap some more of these lights around in here, cover them up with the spray, probably get some in the Skelly. Okay, moving right along. That's 3 cans of expansion foam spray. Got the rest of the lights wound around where I want them. You can see everything's nicely piled up and mounted. Should look pretty sweet when I get it finished. Actually worked a light up into his mouth, sprayed some foam in the mouth, up into his rib cage, and the pool noodles really did help with mounting it up and filling up some of that space. I just want to make sure with the expansion foam you kind of hit these lights so you don't have the individual lights like really popping out all over. I don't think having a few is going to be a big deal, but you really want it to look smoldery. And here we are, almost done. 4 cans of the expansion foam. This is where we're at. Progress is looking really dope. I did go to the store and I ran and grabbed 2 more cans of expansion foam because I said, screw it, I don't really care. If I have an extra one left over, I just want to get around the edges here and just kind of get it up close to the edge of the wood. But it turned out really good so far. Got a couple extra goodies I'm going to add to it. Okay, final product before we apply the paint. I always have to take it a step or 2 further. This is 6 cans of expansion foam. You can get it for about $4.50 a can at Walmart. Let's call it 30 bucks for that. $35 for the posable skeleton from Lowe's. This little handcuff thing I bought from the dollar store was $1. I mean, we're looking at like $70 worth of stuff, honestly. The paint, maybe add another 20 bucks. Under $100 you can do this project. And you'll see I had to bring the foam up to the edges like I said before. I threw this chain in there because I went to Walmart to get another bottle of expansion foam and it just happened to be there. So I said, yep, I'm throwing that on it. Time to get this wrapped up. So this is about not even a half a can. It's going on really nicely. I'm just kind of doing some light strokes here. And I was worried about painting too much over some of the like silver chain and stuff, but if you're kind of just misting it on there, and you can kind of get some of the black in there without overkilling it. I'm worried about his face, so I might actually throw some paint on like a brush or even like spray it on a paper towel and kind of just wipe it on some of the spots. I don't know, I'm just kind of rolling with it as I go, but I should have plenty of paint to get this done. I'll add a little red here and add some black and get it wrapped up. We're getting there, moving along nicely here. So I've noticed that if you kind of, like I said, if you're kind of dusting it, then you can kind of hit those white spots on your skeleton without totally blacking it out, which I think kind of looks a little bit better than having the skeleton be all black. So like I said, I'm just rolling with it, but most of it done. I still got to hit it with a little bit of red. It's turning out dope as hell. So you can see I actually I'll spray a little bit on the bones. The chain has still got its silver look. Right here, a little bit of paint on the foot. It doesn't, I wanted to make it look a little bit burned, but not. I still want to see the differences between the bones and the chains and the coals. Adding a little red, I'm just kind of glossing it on a little bit over in some of the areas where I can always go back over with some more black if I want to, but I really do think it's starting to look sweet with the red on it. I'll probably mist over it with the black a little bit at least, but just kind of lightly going in there to kind of give the burning coals a little bit of a look. But I don't know if I want it to be too red, so like I said, get plenty of cans. Turns out all this black was 1 can of paint. I got a little bit more to go there. So you don't need more than 2 cans of black for sure. 1 can of red, that'll save you some money. Dampen down this side right here. You can see the red is a little less vibrant. This side is a little brighter, so all I'm doing is just kind of hitting it with another little layer of mist just to kind of take that edge off of it and give it a little bit more of a dampened look. Right, final product. Okay, we are done. I could probably poke around at this all day. I ended up going a little darker on the skull because I thought it looked cooler as I went. You can still see it's got the brown in it, got some texture. The red has been lightly dusted over with more black. You can still see the chain colors, the handcuff colors. Everything's nicely scorched and burned looking. Got in the chest cavity pretty good. I really, really like the way this turned out, and it's the middle of the friggin' day. So got our plugs over there. Nighttime is the right time. Let's show this bad boy in its full capacity when it gets dark out. This thing wrapped up, it's nighttime. Let's go ahead and check out the big reveal. I'm actually super stoked with the way that this turned out. Check it out. Bam. I probably couldn't be happier. This thing looks absolutely killer, super realistic. I do have to have my light on because there's just a lot of washout with the LED on the phone's camera. You can see how bright the eyes are. Of course, I got a little bit up in his mouth there, some ash. Honestly, guys, super simple project, not a new thing. As I said before, I'm sure you've seen a lot of these, but I had to do my own twist. Wanted to use a full skeleton. 6 cans of the expansion foam, and I only needed 2 cans of the black spray paint, 1 can of red. Get your posable skeleton. Obviously the chains and the handcuff things, they're cheap options, but this whole thing, maybe 3-hour project and under $100. Can't beat it. Everything looks super dope down there in the chest cavity. Yeah, man, I'm ready to haunt the house this year. This turned out absolutely killer. Let's turn the flash off just so you can see what I'm talking about here. And here's what she looks like. No flash on the camera. You can see those LED eyes are just evil. So yeah, that adds a super dope dynamic to it. It's gonna blend in nicely with this year's haunt. If you've been on the fence as to whether or not you should do one of these, highly recommend. And I would definitely wire in the LED eyes. Like I said, I'll drop that video or the link to that video in the description. But yeah, this is a can't miss, dummy, stupid, easy thing to do. As always, thanks for joining me on this DIY video. Please like, share, subscribe, all that garbage. Probably gonna do some more haunt stuff this season. Check out the merch store if you guys haven't checked out my merch store. Until next time, let's lose. Happy Halloween.